as you say those episodes, I vividly remember the different seasons, I guess you could say, that we were in our business in those times. Oh wow, things have really changed since then. And it kind of makes you think. It's like I love that because we always come back to you. You literally hear us in the podcast over the past 2.5 years of I need to go hard in the business. I need to go hard in my family. I need to go hard in the business. And I just love that because literally just right now you're literally saying, and I'm like, man, I
work-life
love
balance
that.
is a bunch of bullshit. It's a harmony.
That way-
Music notes, they go from top to bottom.
With the right- with
they
the-
don't imagine if all you heard was and that was the entire song. No, what you hear is
Hopefully a little better than that.
Yeah, I can't sing, right? But welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Brews and Business Podcast. I'm your host, Braedon Kruse.
And I'm your co-host, Abel Rodriguez.
And we're back at it again. It's the end of
Yes,
2024, just about 2.5 years into recording podcasts for you guys, providing some valuable insights, information, and resources from, people from all across different industries, sizes, revenue ranges, different skill sets, a lot of different things. So, man, it's been crazy. So we're going to kind of review a little bit of some of the things that I've done and Abel's done this year, maybe some of the things we've discussed on the Brews and Business podcast with some different guests, and just try to encompass what in the hell happened in 2024 because 2025 is right around the corner and it's about to.
Yeah, we're a week
About to
away,
go crazy.
right? A week away from 2021
Yep.
or 2025, which is, well, a week and a half. It's kind of exciting.
So if you're watching this, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
This is going to be the week of the Christmas. We're going to introduce this weekend. So this is going to be raw. This is going to be as is. It's going to be raw as you and me.
Well, cool. Let's do it. Well,
you brought something.
Yeah, we're going to start off with some. I brought something to drink here.
All right.
Let's see. We got some Mitchell's Small Bourbon, Kentucky Straight Bourbon, and we got an awesome new glass here. Oh, check that. Oh, yeah, Brews and Business.
Oh, the merch. These hoodies,
Brews
yo.
and Business.
Adidas.
So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, the hoodies are nice. Super comfortable.
Super soft.
Super soft. Super comfortable. I'm going to try some of this real quick.
And then the whiskey glass.
Smells good. Yeah, we got the good whiskey glass. I'm really happy about that. Really excited about that. Braedon, hope that's okay.
What? What's okay?
Oh, it's a little heavy, but that's okay, right? It's
Oh,
Christmas
no,
time.
yeah, no, pour heavy. Pour heavy, it's Christmas time.
So let's see, what do we got
I'm on
here?
break now, officially. So everything's wrapped up and we're good to go. So this is what again?
Mitchell's Small Batch. Doesn't really say much. Just says it is one of America's first whiskeys. So we'll see how it is.
One of America's first whiskeys.
That's what it says. Established in
brand?
1753.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So we'll see.
Well, man, what have you been up to this year? I'm thinking like all the way back in January. I remember I was in the old office. So, we moved, and this is the new Brews and Business podcast setup. We completely moved, completely changed. Blue Studio's gone now.
Yep.
That's changed.
Yep. Man, I don't know. There's been a lot of change. I think the biggest change in my business, I think, is really just kind of building the process, building the business to get out of the business. This year was a lot of trial and error. We took on some jobs that we weren't quite sure we could take on, kind of move some people around, management and stuff, train some people.
Remember,
I'd say,
keep going.
well, I'd say for me personally, the biggest change was preparing for, which was definitely a thought early on in spring, preparing for and hiring a sales guy. So that was a lot of what my 2024 was like. And then finally we hired the sales guy in August, and right now he's running full speed ahead, and it's great. Which organically, once hiring that sales guy, we've had these conversations where you can't see the forest from the trees, right? You're stuck in doing all the work, you can't really see what's going on, and once we hired the sales guy, it's really kind of everybody's kind of shifted into position a little better. And it's kind of awesome. I'm excited to see what's coming. I've had some conversations with Abraham the past few weeks, and I think we'll probably be hiring another sales guy sooner rather than later.
Really? So it's working out?
Oh yeah, it's working out, man. But again, kind of this year, as we've talked, 2024 was hard on a lot of business owners. So I think this year we really took that hard, and we have the saying, in life you're gonna have to eat shit, use the big spoon. Well, we used that big spoon this year, man. We used it a lot, and at the end of the year, we decided to hire some smart people, some smarter people than us, and start trying to make some changes. So this year was really a lot of I'm reading good. I just finished Good to Great, and one of the core
That's a
principles
good
in that
book.
book, yeah, one of the core principles is facing the realities, facing the truth head on, and so we're doing a lot of that this year, and it's the truth is never fun, right? The truth is never fun, but knowing what you know how to move forward, you know where you went wrong, so on and so forth. So I'm pretty excited to see what 2025 is coming up to. Okay, what about
So,
you? Let's hear.
well, let's see, man. This year refinanced some bad debts, which was good in one aspect. We've hired, we've moved. Uh, I rebuilt Blue Studio in March. We dealt with the flooding issue since
Mhm.
then,
Mhm.
continually for about 6 months until we decided we're not going to do that anymore.
Mhm.
And then closed down Blue Studio. Tried running it between me, Devin, and Carl.
Mhm.
Carl was there for a little while. Carl was a great dude, cool guy, all that stuff. Nothing against him.
Just know
Studio
what?
just wasn't profitable enough. There's some other people that have started studios kind of based on Blue in the last year.
Mhm.
I think it's funny how they've done that because it's dang near pretty close to like some of the stuff that I've done.
Mhm.
And I'm like, let them run. Somebody, I hope somebody's successful with it. It's not
Oh,
for me
somebody will hit it. I think
because
our market's just not quite there yet.
no,
Like it's the podcast world is pretty saturated
yeah,
and very heavily saturated in higher metropolitan areas,
yeah.
right? And I think again with the podcast studio, Tulsa's like just not quite there yet, right? And will we get there? Yeah, sure, within 15, 20 years or so. Um, I don't know if it's there yet.
So
We're
the studio would cost somewhere around $1,500, $2,000 a month
right,
to let run.
right.
And that's some hard cost with maybe somebody part-time or
Mhm.
contracted just kind of help be available. So I mean, outside of that, if you're charging memberships, hourly rates at $25 an hour, $50 an hour, or memberships at $100 a month, you really have to have some volume.
Right, right,
Right? Or if you're charging six, $700 a month, 5 to 7, 800, well, yeah, $500 to $800 a month for like some editing and stuff, that's 4 clients. Well, that's great, but then you have to have the people to commit to doing that. Most people don't get to 10 episodes or past that.
right,
So if they do 10 episodes, that's that's 6 months.
right,
And
right.
then you're risking, that client even being around. So your lifetime value of a customer
It's tough.
is tough. I mean, and the duration of that, yeah. So all those variables is tough. So I think it's a good decision with the studio. Definitely learned a lot. Still learning a lot. Another reason is kind of like what we've talked about is trying to simplify and less is more. Trying to put time and energy and efforts into sooner. I think Blue Studio was the woman in the red dress that was like, "Oh, this is cool. I like this. This is nice. This will be blah blah blah." And I think a lot of people thought it was cool. A lot of people are like, are you bringing back blue and everything?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not happening." And they're like, "Oh, well, why not?" And I'm like, "Well, just being honest. Like, one, it wasn't making the money it needed to. I pushed it on ads and everything too, and I even had someone to help run it. And I had nice equipment. I had turn and burn equipment that was nicer than just what you would just go buy at Walmart or Best Buy. So yeah. So anyway, so that happened. Um, let's see. We opened. I could say that I opened 6 locations. One in Sacramento, one in San Diego, one in McKinney, Texas, two in Oklahoma City, and one in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations.
And
5 of them are actual office spaces that I could walk into and have a meeting at. They're shared, whatever.
doesn't matter.
I still have an address on Google Maps
Yeah,
by me.
yeah,
Some people
it
have been
counts.
yeah, some people are like, "Well, it's not a legit.
But
Is somebody actually there?" Like, I can go and have a meeting there with somebody.
let me
How
ask you
about
this:
that?
has that actually been beneficial for you?
Uh, yeah. So I've got a lead out there in North
Nice,
Carolina this week.
nice,
2 days ago, I had someone call.
nice.
They're like, "Hey, I'm a moving company. I'm in logistics and whatever. Love to have your help." Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
So, but it's the impression of it too is that we have coastal reach,
mm,
which is part of it, which is one of the coolest like differentiating factors that us versus another company here in town doesn't have.
mm,
Nobody else here in town has coastal reach like we do
hmm,
on the maps, and I can fly out there, and I've got connections in everywhere, like actual office space.
yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, so that's cool. What else? Yeah, so we moved offices. This week, I'm so tired. I was falling asleep in my chair this morning. I was so tired.
You're on break now.
I'm on break
So you guys taking next week off then?
and the following.
Nice. 2 weeks, office closed, the whole office.
Yeah. Told everyone go home.
That's cool, man.
Regardless if you've done good, regardless if you've done bad, go home. I don't
Yeah.
want you here. I'm tired. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk.
Yeah. No, that's
It's a
fantastic,
break for
man.
me, break for you. Go be with your family. And like we were saying earlier, when you come back,
Oh yeah.
you better be ready to hit the
Right.
ground running.
Right.
And I'm ready. I'm ready to, if that means firing because, certain standards aren't met,
So be
if
it.
I have to pull that, to, deal with that, that's what it is. Which I don't want to, but I hate that. I hate the stick or carrot, methods of, look at the carrot, go chase it, and you want this, and then the other one's like, go get it, whack whack.
So what other method do you see?
I don't know. I've
Exactly.
heard there's a third method, but I question it. I can't remember what it is, but there's some other method. I'm like, I don't really know if that would
Well,
work.
I just say that
But
because, like, man, we got kids. Whatever. What other method have you figured out that works? There isn't. It's the carrot or the stick. And as terrible as it sounds, we're all human, man. Like we're all human. And the only time the carrot works is when you really want that carrot. Other than that, that stick's fucking faithful. It's terrible.
yeah,
It's
I
terrible,
mean, the
dude.
stick has worked for
But
how many decades,
right,
how
but
many
it's
hundreds of
terrible,
years?
But if
All the
somebody
way
don't
back to Ooga Booga caveman
right,
days, right?
if they don't if they're not hungry enough, they could care less about that carrot.
Yeah.
So, and admittedly, like it's tough. I feel that 100%. But man, that's kind of one of the things we put ourselves into, right? We decided to be business owners. We kind of got to own up to those things, and it is what it is. But I'm excited for to see how your business changes, being in the new space and kind of
Yeah.
it's not the greatest of circumstances, but I always think change is a good thing.
Well,
And
let me put it into this perspective too. In the last 90 days, I've fired 3, 4 people, hired 4 people. So move some positions around, move some people around. I've um, acquired some new clients, lost a couple projects, or completed projects, not lost them, but completed some projects. So like managing the workload, managing people's specialties, managing that rhythm and stuff. As you well know, it's very difficult because you have
oh yeah,
retainer services and you have project services, just like
oh
I do.
absolutely, absolutely,
So very hard to kind of balance that. And like when your retainers are less than
X amount.
or equal to
Yeah.
that amount. And then when the projects aren't there, then it sucks, right? And then when the projects are there, it's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And even when the retainers go above an X amount, whatever that baseline is, it's great. You don't have to worry about projects. You're not pushing hard on sales. So it's just constant fluctuation and stuff. Um, well, I've realized that we needed to move. And in 3 weeks, I found us a new spot, had the lease signed, had a move in date, put in the cancellation for a place, had everything packed up, ready to move out, box by box, room by room. We walked in on Monday. We moved the whole office in 4 hours. I
Nice.
moved like what 1,200, we moved 2,000 square, 1,750 square feet of office.
Nice.
We have so many chairs. Oh my God. Dude, the amount of chairs that we have, wild.
I believe it.
Uh,
It's
so,
you always need somewhere to
but we
sit.
did that. So, my wife works with me now. I love that. That's awesome. Your wife
Yeah.
works with you now.
My wife works with me now.
So,
Not as much as I wish she did, but
but
yeah,
that's good.
it's
I
fun.
love that.
Honestly, I love it. It's a love and hate thing.
Yeah.
I love it because like, well, we're driven together. We have the same. It's different, right?
Well, she
But
is, mine
it's
is a hard break.
oh gosh, why?
Yeah. Huh?
Why?
I'm the all gas.
Okay. Oh, you said yours is a heartbreak.
She's a
Okay, I
hard
gotcha.
break and I'm
Thought you
all
said
gas.
heartbreak. Well, see,
Hard break.
and I get that too because I think Kyla's the same way. But I say it because at least now you're kind of see the things together instead of going home and you're like you see one thing and she hears it and she hears one thing, she sees one thing and hears something. It's different now. You're
Yeah.
both hearing and feeling the same things, which can be a good and bad thing. For me, like I said, I love it because we're driven together. We're talking about it together. We're like dreaming together. Um, but then I hate it because, well, you never get to turn off work, right? You like leave the office and
Yeah.
you're talking
She
about
talked about
work,
that.
and then
Yep.
you're doing this and you're leaving and you got to talk about work. And I love it and I hate it. Admittedly, I think I'm starting to just realize like, it's just a season. If my wife and I work really hard for about 2
Well,
years, we'll
talking
be
about
both
rhythm too,
out.
you'll figure out a new
Right,
rhythm.
right, and that's part of what
Mhm.
we're kind of and I love it. I love the new rhythm because man, we're dads, right? We're kind of the ones that always have to go away for work. We're kind of the ones that, admittedly, the relationship's just not there with the kids the way you wish it was. And with being home a little bit more, with Kylie coming to work, it's like the kids have to deal with me. I'm like, yeah, you have to love me. And it's awesome, right? Because like they love you the way you want to be loved and the way you love them. And not to say there's anything wrong, but you love your kids differently whenever your wife's around. And not to say that's bad, but like I love my kids differently with my wife. Why? Because well, my wife's awesome and she's super nurturing and she's super whatever.
Soft and
Yeah, and
stuff.
that's great.
But
I
when my
love
wife's
it.
not around, you get
But
to like roughhouse and like be
right,
a
like,
little
but
rough
when right, like whenever, and it's terrible it sounds, but it's true. Like
because mom's gonna fly around and go, ah, don't
yeah,
hurt them.
but and right, and I love that. I love it. I do.
Like
But
easy, mama
admittedly,
bird, easy.
it's really awesome to be able to build that relationship with my girls without that. And I think Kyla's wanted that for me too. I didn't realize like yeah, how big of a deal it was, but now as I'm starting to get my girls a little bit more and kind of seeing that like, dude, I love it. I love that my biggest thing that I love is that you don't need mom. Like you have me too. And kids are so good at mom, mom,
I
mom,
tell the
mom,
kids,
mom,
I'm like,
mom,
what
mom.
about me?
And that's literally it. And I
Mom, can
literally
I have this? I can help you with
I'm right
that.
here.
I'm
Right.
literally right here.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things that I love is like you don't need mom. And she's great. And I want her too. Like I do too.
Yeah, what
But
about me?
yeah,
I want to
but
cuddle mom too.
exactly. That's literally it, right? It's like, hey, what me too. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you know what? Like in the grand scheme, you don't need her. And I'm here too. And sometimes, and really as the dad, I think a lot of things that we teach them is like there's the self-reliance, like doing things on your own and kind of like admittedly as it sounds, we'll go somewhere, right? And the girls are all following. Kyle and I have been talking about this a lot. The girls are all following us. Everything's great. But like as soon as the door opens to somewhere, my girls stop. Like they're just hard stop. And I'm like, get your ass inside. Come on. And Kyla has a tendency to do somewhat the same thing. And I realized like they're scanning the room, right? They open the door and they just scan the room. And that's totally okay. Totally, there's nothing wrong with that. But it drives me fucking nuts. I'm like, go in the door. You're blocking everybody. Let's go. And whenever mom's there, well, we're all kind of together. It's a we're a group. We're kind of have our way we
Is
do
that a
things.
primal thing?
Right. No. But again, we do our thing. But whenever mom's not there, I'm like, get in the door, go open it, hold that door open for that lady. Like it's different. And I have little girls. They don't need to be learning this stuff, but it's a different type of love, right? And it's a different type of connection that you get with them. And I love it. I love it. And again, with that was another big thing that I've said on the podcast a few times. And I'm really 2025 is that's a big thing is take my business a little bit more serious with accountability so that way I can spend more actual time with my family without having to feel like I have to micromanage when I'm with my
Yeah.
family. And I've got a really good glimpse of that over the past month of, hey, I get phone calls. If I'm with my kids, I'm with my wife, I get the phone calls and I can answer the phone calls and everything's great. But everybody knows I'm busy. Everybody knows I'm with my family and so on and so forth. Um, but it's building that idea of like, hey, you're not, it's not just me. It's not like it's my family, my whole family. If you don't like it, sorry, that's just the way it is. And I respect it. Sometimes the kids can come to work, they can't come to work, and so on and so forth. Like I get all that. But if you want me, like as a friend, as a business partner, as a whatever, like you're gonna understand that it's my whole family. And I really love that everybody's like, hell yeah, I'm totally about that, right? And you start to realize like that's really easy to find people like that because the second you start telling people like our bike situation, right? Like how cool, right? Why? Well,
Oh
because
yeah,
you start to figure out
we both bought bicycles
for
for
the
our
whole
families for
family.
Christmas.
Yeah, the whole family gets bikes for Christmas. That's pretty awesome that happened. Didn't talk about that actually either.
No,
So that was just an
no, we
accident.
just
But
found out
but again, it's
earlier.
that idea, right, where you start to hang out with the right people and having that conversation with you. You're like, well, bro, I bought bikes for my family because I'm in the same boat, right? It's not just me, it's my family. And I'm doing all this for them. Like ultimately it's for me because it makes me feel good and so, but like they're gonna be the fruits of the labor. Like we're as you know, you don't plant the tree for yourself. You plant the tree for someone else. Dude, right now we're planting the trees. We're planting the trees for our kids, for our wife. And ideally, one day they'll get to sit underneath the shade of a beautiful big shade tree, you know?
As we transition into going through some of the episodes that we've recorded this year, because I've got some of those pulled up. Um, One of the things that's happening now with me at work is I'm being pushed out.
Yeah, it feels weird, doesn't it?
I don't like it.
Yeah. How do you think I
But I
feel?
love it.
Ooh,
It's really
but
it's frustrating
let
though
me let
because
me
it's like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I tell you, like the whole accountability
What do you want
aspect
me
is
to do?
okay,
But
okay.
hey, then I have to go. Well, we can't just not do it because
No,
it has to get done. You got to. Somebody has to do it, and you're on a deadline. I'm literally looking at you, and I'm like, "Come on!" Well, why didn't you do this? Oh, okay. Well, I don't care, but y'all figure it out. Get it done. Okay. 2 days later, you guys did it. Okay, good. All right.
It's like that,
Yeah.
and same,
I don't know.
and it feels weird. My uncle told me, um, I went to my uncle's a few times now, to pick up some trucks, and one time I told him what my plan with the business was, and he's like, "Hey, I don't think that's a good plan for you." And I'm like, "Why?" He said, "Man, I have a friend who built a business. He built a really beautiful business. It's been in business for about 15, 20 years, a concrete business." He's like, "And he just sold." And he still worked for the business. He's signed a contract. He works for 2 years. He's selling the business. He's like, and I was like, "Yeah, right. That's kind of typical, right?" Um, he's like, "He fucking hates it." I said, "Why?" He's like, "Because the company's changing, the company's running, and they don't need him. And this is his baby. And now they don't need him, and he hates it." So I kind of have a feeling it's gonna happen to you because I know that's gonna happen to me. And I just have a feeling that's gonna happen to you. And that happens to me at this point, it feels like every week where I talk to Abraham, who now, again, traction has really helped straighten. But I'm the visionary, he's the integrator. And there's a lot of things that I see that Abraham's like, that's not the way it is. This is how it happens. I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, I'll just shut up. Because things are happening, right? They have
But
this,
I haven't had a lot of these positions before.
and I agree with that. And again,
And
it
so it's
feels
hard for me
weird.
to understand
It feels
this.
weird, but I say that because this year we kind of, like I said, the people kind of fell into place, right?
Mhm.
That has happened with me stepping out. And the whole bottleneck idea, right? At some point, you're bottlenecking all these people, and they can actually do something way bigger than you are. And the second you get out of the way, they do something amazing. And I realized that I am that bottleneck, but at the same time, now that I'm out of the way, it's my job to recognize the other bottlenecks.
Do you think other people are scared to step out, step away,
Oh
step
yeah,
back? Scared
absolutely.
to trust it because they've been burned too
Oh,
many
let me ask you.
times?
Let me ask you this: What do you mean as other people? Like,
Other entrepreneurs, other business
yes,
owners,
yes.
as they change and adapt or
Let
grow,
me let me
do
put
you
it this
think that they're
way.
scared to
It,
let other people take their roles? Because I have recently had a conversation with somebody of a particular level of political status who put somebody in charge of something 6 months ago, asked earlier on this week, how's it going? They haven't touched it. And it's starting really big activity in like 60 days.
is it what I think it is?
It's
Probably.
the other one
Okay. Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
not the
That's a
one
big
I
deal.
was a part of.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the
that's a
other
big deal.
one. Nothing's been done.
That's the problem. And
And
again,
that's not the old and they that person also had an event that I was at a few months ago, and they had to do that nearly all themselves because the people that they put into the position didn't do their role. And it's
yeah,
like, how can you learn to trust people? And it's not the ooh, I don't want to give out too many details on it, but it's like, how does one learn how to trust to, oh, I find this person, I like this person, they have the skill sets, I have the need, connect the dots, you're in charge now, cool, we're understanding, great, run. And then 2 weeks later, how are things going? Uh, you know, and I've had that happen to many of times, and it has cost me tens of thousands of probably not hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 10-year period where it's and even lately over the last I tell you over the last 3 to 6 months where I've hired and I'm like, eh, you know, and I've even continually I'm like, okay, there's a methodology too to like managing and working with people. Is it a development thing? Is it a characteristic thing? Is it a skill set thing? Is it something where they can be trained on? Is it something that where I can't put up with it? Then they're fired. You know,
and sometimes it is, man. Again, the books we've read, it's
But
the
I hate how
wrong
people
people in the wrong
handshake and
seat.
promise and they don't have any follow through. Like if you can't commit, don't commit. Tell me that's fine. Like you did. You're like, hey, I have to pull back a little bit on Brews and business because I have to refocus. I can't do it every 2 weeks, but I'll be there. I don't know, whatever you said, maybe once a month or whatever. Like if you can do this with me once a month, I'll fill in the other gap. I'll still keep some frequency. I'll do something every 2 weeks, something outside of with you.
Right.
And if you can join in, great. I'll be here. There'll be that seat for you. You know,
And
but at
again,
least then you set that expectation, and I
that's what I was
appreciate
about to
that.
say.
Like, that's great. I can do that,
I
you know?
think, and It's hard, man. I mean, you don't like disappointing anybody,
Absolutely
you
not.
know? And I think you don't like telling people you can't do things, and again, I'm in the same boat, but I think, and I've had to do this in my business too, where I catch people and I'm like, you can't do that. Why? Because you can't. I need you to focus on what you're doing. Can't let you do that. Well, I can do it. No, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't. I understand you probably could, but what's gonna fall because you did that?
Yeah.
And I can't. And I think as business owners, that's one of the man, there's a lot of lessons you learn as business owner. Let me just tell you, like a lot. That's one of the lessons you learn is like it's a lot easier conversation to tell you straight up I can't do it than to tell you yes and then not show up. There's a big difference in that conversation. One's, "Hey, no problem. Could you maybe do a part of it? Could you maybe know somebody who could help us out? Do you know?" Whatever. Fine. That's
Rather
totally
than like,
cool.
yeah, we'll do this. Sounds
Totally
great. And
cool.
then it not happen at all. And
And
you're
then
like,
right, and then or, "Yeah, I can do that," and then you don't show up,
then you
or
also
you
question,
don't do the job
did you
correctly.
communicate properly on
Right. Right,
expectations?
right.
If you can check that box, then you go to the next step.
Right, and I think,
Yeah.
like, something very, very similar for us, like, dude, you know what business we're in, we do pretty much anything outdoors. But if, like, we hit certain things, I'm like, this is your guy." I had a customer literally reach out to me, "Hey, man, I just need somebody to come out and come to 2 limbs off of a tree for me. I don't have a saw tall enough. Do you think you can do it?" And I looked at the tree, sent me a picture, I'm like, this is your guy." He's like, "Oh, man, you guys could do it." I'm like, "I know I could. I know I could." But realistically, Greg's my friend. I know it's Christmas time. We're all a little slow. Give Greg the money. Greg, this is his business. He's literally a tree guy. Like I
Arborist?
could, yeah. I was like, I could, but I'm gonna send Greg. And sure enough, Greg's like, dude, thanks for that. It's $300, nothing crazy. But I could have had it. It wouldn't have been no big deal. But again, why? Well, because in that moment, I told that certain customer, I can't fulfill that. Not because I can't, but because right now, the way my crews are set up, it doesn't make sense for me to pull 2 guys off to go clean up a couple limbs for you whenever we're literally stuck on, like, a
See, I'll say this
huge
again.
job
I
right now.
wish that I could work with more people in my industry that aren't just videographers and photographers,
Yeah.
because everyone else in my industry is so cutthroat. I've tried. I still tried. I still,
Man,
in the
yeah.
last year, I've tried
So I work with a lot of
because I'm
people in
like,
my
hey, like
industry.
you can build the website. I'll support it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll do that for $1,000 a year. You give me some money, we'll do X, Y, and Z so long as you stay on those parameters. Because a lot
Well,
of the
even, like
times those are good business deals for us
yeah.
because they'll turn into more
Well, somebody like we
jobs or
we
whatever.
work with, not often, but every now and again, Stone. Dude, we work behind Stone a couple times
Do you
where
really?
yeah, where he'll go do his gutters, he'll give out the name for drains, and we'll go do drains, and he did drains before, right? He did all that work. And why?
But he didn't.
Because
He thought about going
right,
French drains,
right,
but
correct.
he stopped.
He stopped, and that's what I'm saying is like, but he stopped because why?
He's
It
like,
was
once
too
it
much
hits
of
the
a headache.
ground,
It was too much
yeah.
of a. So then he found the right person, right, to be able to refer, and I've referred him too. And,
So we do that with Cody
and
because a lot of times we kept running into people having email questions and issues, and I'm like, there's marketing and there's IT. There's where the path crosses and there where it clearly divides.
right,
So
right.
where it crosses is like we have to work together because the skill sets,
But that's what I
there's some
said.
mix of
And
that.
in
So
your
like we
industry,
send it
it's a
off to
little
T-Town
different.
Tech,
It's a little different for sure in your industry. Your industry is a little, like you said, cutthroat. Maybe there's a little bit more. What's that? What's that word? Uh,
I mean, I don't know, cutthroat.
no, like oh, proprietary process to it. Like,
Oh
bro, if you
yeah.
install a French drain, there's only one way to really install a French drain correctly. Like, there's only one, maybe two.
Well, mine, like, how do you make a social media post?
There's a
There's
million ways.
no wrong or right
Right.
way to
There's
do
a
it.
million ways. So
You
again, that's
know?
where the proprietary aspect comes in. Maybe the
Yeah.
the cutthroat, right? Like, bro, if I said like John, one of my best people that I love referring to, if I'm like, hey John, you got an open schedule for somebody in Broken Arrow. Yeah, sure, I got it, bro. Send me the address. Like, he doesn't care. I don't care. And it's like, why? Well, because admittedly, John and I started our business the exact same like month. And I admittedly beat him out of business within the first year. But that didn't mean that was it. It was like, bro, I know one day I'm going to be bigger than you, and that's fine. I still need somebody to refer to because my job is to solve customer problems,
Yeah.
not make all the money in the world. I need to solve customer problems. And if I can't do that, I need to find the right people to do it. And in the service industry, again, I don't know the marketing industry, but a lot of people are strictly contractors. So you would show up to the job and you'd sell the job and then you would subcontract
So
it to
what's
me.
interesting is a lot of people in a lot of companies in my space, what they do is they outsource it over to India, Pakistan, or the Philippines.
Right. And
It's
for
one of
us,
those
you
3
outsource
countries
it to
every single
Mexicans.
time. Well, yeah, right?
It's the
Yeah,
same thing,
same
right?
thing.
It's the same
And
thing.
so while, in one part in business, if I had an investor that stepped in, had no clue or anything, he'd be like, "Well, why are we hiring people locally? Like, let's just outsource it, cut the deal, cut the whatever, and save 15, save 20, save like 80%, because I could literally hire somebody for $5 an hour in the Philippines to just make some social media content." But I'm like, where you don't understand is the cultural difference, communication, time zone, which that can be argued to, and process.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know,
I agree.
and nobody against the Philippines. I had a VA, I had an editors, I had some real graphic designers, some really great people for periods of times in different parts of around the world. Some were great, some were not. Majority of my experience was not.
And I
American
think,
wants to see somebody. They want to talk to somebody. They want to know they
yeah,
support somebody
for us, business
here.
is a handshake deal still. It's
Yeah.
still a face-to-face situation.
And
And
that's actually close in business where I was like,
oh, fuck
your
yeah.
people are here.
Yeah,
You can walk in my office. You can talk to the lady who's working on your website. You can talk to the guy who's doing your SEO. You can talk to the person who's actually working on your stuff and say, can we look at this together?
that's funny you said. I think you're that is
Yeah.
very relatable to me of all my guys are bilingual. Like, the people you need to talk to, they're bilingual. And they're like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I got, like, 7 people on board that are
And I'm like,
bilingual. And they're like,
no
"Really?"
habla
I'm like, "Yeah."
inglés.
And they're like, and the ones that appear to not speak English, they can. Really? I'm like, "Yes." They just make it different when they don't like to, but and that's okay. You can find the right guy. They'll translate, like, they know. But it's the differentiating factor, right? Because why? Because just like most Americans want to walk in and talk to whoever's building their website, building their ads, whatever it is, most homeowners want to be able to go outside and talk to the people that are doing the job on their house.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that big of a deal? No, because a lot of people still hire the people they can't communicate with. That's fine. But we're not looking for those people, right? We're looking for a different type of customer. And similar to you, you're looking for a different type of customer. And again, with the whole VAs and everything, man, that's great. It got you to where you are now, right? Stepping stones. But again, as you elevate companies, you have to elevate process, you have to elevate people, and so on and so forth. And I think that's really just kind of what where you're hitting, right? You're elevating your process, your people, and your target market, admittedly. Um, but again, that also the business will naturally take you that way, right? Like, you didn't just set off right out of the bat. Hey, I'm gonna hire all these people and do everything in house. Like, no, you tried what made sense. You're like, I don't like it. Let's move this way.
I've
I don't like
literally
it. Let's go this
seen,
way. I don't like it. And and so that's kind of where you ended up.
and we'll transition here in a second into this, because I've literally seen four, four, and I'm trying to think of the fifth one. I know I'm thinking of four for sure, where I've seen go from start to 5 million plus in under 5 years. Some three. How? Well, that's a pretty big open-ended conversation, because you go into what industry, what knowledge did they have, who else was involved, did they have any capital to start up with, did they do any research ahead of time before they officially filed and started servicing clients on that date or customers on that date. Because there's, before you see somebody actually ding ding open the door, there's a lot more behind the scenes that had to have been done in order to be able to open that door
Well,
and ding ding ready for customers, right?
yeah, yeah,
So when did they really get started? What was the homework that was involved? And again, I found this time and time again where a lot of people encourage people to get into business, and I'm like, don't do it. Like, you really have to have the grit, like what you were saying earlier. And there's a lot more than just what
I
people
got it.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like, where we say, just get started or be prepared.
It's a mix of both, man.
It's a little mix of both. You gotta know when you should be prepared and when you should just jump in and go,
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
Blue Studio was jump in and go.
Yeah. But admittedly, let's be honest, because I've
Yeah.
been thinking about Blue Studio a lot and Brews and Business and kind of where it's like it was a jump in and go. Yes. But there was thought behind it. Because admittedly, in the time, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, your business was in a completely different state, right?
Oh, yeah.
And our idea was start the podcast, get people indoors, start talking to people, something to start happening. And it
Yeah,
did. It
yeah.
did, right? So to some degree, it was just get started. But I think the smart thing, and a lot of business owners, and again, I think you and I are kind of having these conversations, right? Is like it's one thing to get started and not know what the hell you're getting into. But it's another thing to know when to stop too, right? And Blue Studio might have been that. Hey, it was great, started. It did what it was supposed to. We got people in the door. We got leads are kind of sales are up. Everything. It did what it was
Well,
supposed
Blue
to.
Studio didn't generate
And
any
now,
business for me.
right, and that's
It
what I'm saying.
really didn't, and Brews and Business didn't directly.
No, and I
And
don't
all it did was just really help with coach. It was free
with
coaching.
branding and
It
coaching
was free personal coaching is
and
really
right,
what it was.
and
And I don't
I
mean to
say
say that for
no,
anybody
no,
for guests who, there's no devaluation, whatever, too. But it was like,
no,
it really
absolutely,
was like we got to shed light and help our guests that were brought on here to be able to share their stories to provide value to our listeners and
right,
everything
right,
too. But going back to purpose, like that's like we're listeners in our own podcast. Like this is what we're listening to our own
right,
thing. We're just
right,
trying to share what we're
right.
share the
But
journey and
again,
the
going
story.
back to that whole stopping thing, it's like, hey, we started, and then what happened? You realize there was a certain portion of that start, that idea, that sure you want to hold on to, but the rest of it you stop. Brews and Business continues, Blue Studio stops. Why? Well, because sometimes you got to do that, and because you try some shit and it doesn't work, and you try something else.
Try some
Like,
shit and
dude,
move
you just
on.
try some shit, and it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But you know what doesn't work is not trying. That's basically it, right? And it's like, and again, there's pros and cons to all of it. Start, yes. Get some research done, yes. I like to think about it. I just thought it like starting a business is a lot like a fireplace and starting a fire. You don't really know what everybody's fireplace is like. You just know you go sit by the warm fire, right? Like
You like the
you walk in the yeah,
sounds
you
and the
walk in their house, you're like,
warmth
ooh,
and
that's a nice fireplace. And you go and you sit by it, it's nice and warm, it sounds pretty, the
yeah.
fire's pretty to look at. But you don't know if they had to chop that tree down and cut those logs themselves. You don't
You don't
know.
know if they hauled a whole rick in the
Right,
back of their
you
truck
don't
bed and
right,
it
you
took
don't
them
know.
4
All you
hours to
know
go
is at the
travel
end
and
of the
load it and
day,
unload it and
it's
stack it.
beautiful, warm, and awesome. But you don't know how hard it is. And some people
Lose
had to build the
appreciation for
damn
that.
fireplace to even have somewhere to burn their wood. Some people, I'm so thankful to my realtor, have a fireplace with a gas starting thing. It's super easy to start your fireplace, right? But
You have a
nonetheless,
fireplace?
oh
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
and
I
I
miss
started a
mine
fire
so
before I
much.
left actually for the
I thought
kids.
about replacing this here with an electric one.
Oh, that'd be fun. I mean, I had it
Do you approve?
a little. Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Why not? That'd be cool. I
It
had
turns blue?
I had a little propane one that I had at my house for a long time that you fill up with the little like cans of liquid gas, and it'd be a little flame right on your table. It's cool
Yeah?
as shit. Me and Kyla bought one a few years ago because we missed our fireplace so much. But nonetheless, it's that idea of you don't know how it got started. You don't know, but the reality is whoever, whatever, that fire at the end of the day, it's hot, it's pretty, it's whatever, from the outside, you don't know how much work it took to get it to just stay on. Plain and simple. To just stay on. Because how many times you started a fire and then it's fucking out in 30 minutes because you didn't start it right?
Okay, hold on. Time out. Because now you bring me to this post that I found. You ready?
Sure.
You know, we're all guilty of taking our other half for granted. From time to time, explain what you're doing here in a second.
Yeah.
We may
Come on.
forget to give a goodbye kiss. Actually, hold on. I'm start over.
You
You
gotta go give a
know,
goodbye kiss.
huh?
So you gotta go give a goodbye kiss.
Hold on. You know, we're all guilty of taking our other half for granted. From time to time, we forget to give a goodbye kiss, say I love you, or just to be so caught up in what we are doing at the moment that we don't notice the very little things that mean so much to our special someone. I saw something today that made me remember that we won't always have each other to hold, talk to, love, play with, or even just aggravate every now and then. This picture speaks loudly, and it may hurt your heart as it has mine. This man looks like he is spending Valentine's Day alone at first glance, but it is actually his wife in a very beautiful bottle sitting on the table, and you can't see the picture until
Mm-hmm.
now. Apparently, his love for her was still and is very strong as he takes her ashes out for Valentine's lunch date together. He even brought even bought her a glass of wine. So please love your sweetheart, and you have the opportunity. You never know what tomorrow will take away. So look at that picture.
That's heartbreaking. My dad just died. And the hardest part of my dad dying was thinking about my mom. Because the hardest part of my dad dying was thinking about me leaving Kyla.
Mhm.
And dude, you're right. We take them for granted. We take them for granted. We try not to. Admittedly, bro, I give my wife a kiss every single day. I was actually thinking about this today. It's funny how whenever you really find your person, like them is literally the best thing of your life. And the reason I say that is because one of my favorite things in the world in the morning is to to get a hug and a kiss from my wife goodbye.
Mhm.
But you know what's also my favorite thing in the world? When my wife doesn't wake up and I get a really sleepy, barely kiss and I love you, be safe. And she's in bed and she's laying there and she don't want to wake up. It's like how funny that for one, she doesn't get up and it's still my favorite thing in the world. I get the sleepy kiss that I love you, be safe. But then on the other end, I get the hug and the kiss and the I love you, be safe. But they're both my favorite thing in the world because of that one person. That's all it is. Like it's nothing, but it's those little tiny things. It's like it means the world. Like today, Kylie didn't wake up to give me a kiss when I was leaving. It doesn't matter. I still got it lunch and everything, whatever. But like I was leaving, I was like, damn, I love that. Like I get that so little. I get that like little tiny. Oh, I'm gonna. And I guess
Yeah, yeah, well,
I
if
love
she
it,
leaves without telling me goodbye, I'm like, "What? What if I didn't get to kiss you and tell you goodbye?"
dude.
You
That
know?
was
I
a
mean, not you. I
no.
mean,
I
I'm
know.
pointing at you right now, so whoever doesn't know better.
No, I know. Man, my mom taught me that actually growing up. My mom said, "Hey," because I got made fun of one time because I gave my mom a kiss on the bus, and I told my mom that I didn't want to kiss her no more because they made fun of me on the bus. And my mom said, "What if I left right now and I got hit by a bus and you never got to kiss me again? You never got to tell me I love me, and wouldn't you wish you would give me a kiss and told me you love me,
You know what that's like.
bro?" Immediately, I
Does
did it
she?
every single time.
Does she know what that's like?
What my wife?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. Telling her mom? I don't think so.
mine doesn't either.
I don't think so. But
But
she knows
you
it
know what
now.
it's
I
like to
said, but
not
she
be
knows
able
it
to
now
tell
because,
someone
dude, I
goodbye for the
don't.
last time, right?
I hell, I tell you I love you. Like I tell everybody that I actually love, I tell them I love you. Like why? Because admittedly, I'm busy. I don't see as much as I wish I could. And admittedly, you're busy and you probably don't see me as much. And that's just true. Then the reality of the situation is, at the end of the day, if you love them, so what
If
if
you
it's
died,
gay?
I'd be at her
Tell them.
funeral and I'd be heartbroken. I'd tell a story.
Yeah, right. Like it's,
I
dude,
love you.
it's right, and it's like
Yeah,
it's different. And
yeah. I wouldn't just show up
there's
at a
enough
funeral and just sit in the back and be like,
there's enough hate in the
I don't know
world.
anybody
It's like,
here. Don't know anybody.
find some good people around you. Tell them you love them. You'd be surprised how much they take care of you.
Yeah.
And again, I think our wives, especially for you and I think again when you talk about that, hey, this is what you get out of me. Well, it's funny because that's what you get out of me, boss. It's great because then you start to realize, like, man, we are driven because of certain people in our lives, and those people are our spouses. And it's great, and our kids too. But anyways, I opened up this other bottle real quick. I did got a little carried away.
Let's
I
do
got
it.
a Basil
Let's do
Hayden
it.
toast.
This is Brews
Um,
and Business.
but yeah, I saw this bottle and I love Basil Hayden, but I haven't tried this
I
one. So
love Basil Hayden.
yeah, so I've had a few bottles of this year. I was gonna get some Angels,
Pour
some
heavy.
Angel
So,
wings.
January 22, 2024, we actually had this episode with Mason, or was a year in review. And he was talking about how he just acquired the Comedy Club, balancing multiple
Yeah, yeah,
businesses,
yeah.
um, excitement about new ventures, lessons we learned the previous year, reducing anxiety, striving for authenticity, and reducing worry. We talked about expanding Blue Studio, those
Which happened.
which did happen, and that was pretty cool.
It was cool, man.
We're talking about the loss of a loved one. Talking about balancing multiple businesses,
And
the
the funny
grind.
with the hobby and stress, I noticed he posted a status on Facebook about that the other day. What do you guys do to manage stress? So I love that he's still trying to work on that. And his business
He
owners, dude,
called
that's a
me. He
constant
called me.
thing. That's a
He
constant thing
called
we're
me
working on.
yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, how are you? I'm just checking on you." And I sometimes I think, because I do this too. I think of this with myself. I think if I were just to call you, just to check in on you, part of me is really concerned about you. It's just, hey, how are you? The other part of me is also outreaching for help. I need some comfort too. There needs to be a little bit of an exchange in my outreach. I'm uneasy. I don't trust anybody right now to call. I feel like I can trust you and I need to talk.
Hmm,
I say that
that's
without
fair.
saying that.
That's fair.
Even if you just give me 5 to 10 minutes, if I call you to check in on you, one, I truly am curious to how you are, but I really need some help too. I just need to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Have you ever thought about that?
yeah. Because I call my wife a lot, and admittedly, she did it to me, and I was like, "What? What do you need?" Nothing anymore. I'm like, "What?
But
I
she
just want to
needed
be a
you
service
more
for
than,
you." And she's like, "I just want to." Well, you could have just said that. I'm sorry. Like, but I talked to her. I call her. And I'm like, "Well, what's wrong?" I'm just really nervous right now, and I don't even know why. I'm freaking out, and I just need to talk. I just need to hear your voice.
but sometimes most of the time, people won't say that. Somebody
Yeah,
won't
no,
say
for
that,
sure. And
but
it's different because with my spouse and with your dude,
you
you
think that they'll
want to
just be
have that,
straightforward and honest.
right? You want to
But
have that.
even like depending on what's going on, you
Yeah,
won't
I'd probably
always
never tell
be
you. I
you
wouldn't
know?
call you and tell you that. I'd probably, just like
No,
you
we
said,
just
I'd
go
probably
run
call and
around
be like,
the
"Hey, man, how you doing? What's
we
up
just go
today?"
run around the pond.
Yeah, right. We just go run around pond. That's right. But again, it's
That'll be our thing now. You wanna go
it's
run around the
yeah,
pond?
yeah. But like that's a really good point because I didn't think about that, and I don't really reach out to people. I don't think, but then you say that right now, and I'm like, wow, I actually reach out to people a lot, and I reach out, and you get those texts, right? The random, hope you have a beautiful day,
But
like
do you
or
really do that out of just pure nothing to do of yourself? Or
no, and
even on some
now
level,
that you say that, it's
do you
like
get
when
some boosting of yourself? And that's
to
okay.
some degree, I
Yeah.
feel good about doing that because it's never not reciprocated. Like it's always like, bro, thank you. I needed that. Hell yeah, you too. And it's like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go kick some ass today. And it's like, and I never thought about it that way. But you're 100% because like on one end, it's like, well, I'm kind of down and I'm kind of like whatever. But I'm gonna go tell my friends to kick some ass today, and they're gonna go kick some ass, and they're gonna feel good about it. And then almost every time, like, yeah, man, you too. It's like, fuck, you know what? Yeah,
Someone's gotta start the fire though.
yeah, right. And it's
Yeah.
like so a lot of times that is why, and I guess I never thought about it, but yeah, as men especially, I think we're really guilty of that. Of
Because we
hey,
won't be like, "Hey, man, I'm feeling like crazy shit right now. I've got anxiety. You
right,
know, something's
right.
not working here. I wanna cry."
Well,
Nobody's gonna do that.
I've got a friend
Yeah.
who every now and again will text each
Oh,
other,
that's
and
good.
like I texted him last night. I haven't tried it. Texted him last night, and he wrote me a book in a book. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's fucking good. I like that. Um, he wrote me in a book. We've always asked for books for birthdays for our kids. And he wrote me inside of a book for a baby shower for Remy. So now 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, wrote, uh, "Can't wait to meet you from your favorite Uncle Julio. Make sure you make your dad's life hard." And I took a picture of it and I sent it to him. I said, "Damn, look at this, man! Like you wrote this to me 6 years ago, and I'm looking at it, and like I miss you. We need to kind of get together and some stuff." And the realization is like he's a young dad. He's all alone in Oklahoma City. He doesn't have anybody close by. And admittedly, I reach out to him to boost him and to give him some like morale boost. Dude, I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine. That sucks being all alone. Nobody around, two kids, two young kids. You guys are both working. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. And you guys are not super far away from, but far enough that it feels like you're alone. So I reach out to him and then I realize now, like I reach out to him to some degree because well, we kind of been through some things in the past together, right? And we kind of done some things, and it's like, and when you really think about it, it's like, well, you just understand, like, as men, as you start to get older, similar, like, you get the same text, like I said, and I don't send the same text to everybody, but I randomly, I'll think of people and I'll send text, and it's like, why? It's like, because as a man, you just said it. Somebody's got to start the fire. And admittedly, bro, it don't matter how hard a woman tries to start that fire for a man.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. A
Not the
man
same.
has to start that fire with another man. It's not the same.
No homo.
And no homo at all. But like, and it's different too, because like, bro, I will let it out to my wife. My wife knows it
And
all.
it could be homo. That's okay. No offense.
Right, right. But
Don't
there are
care.
certain things that, like, I told my wife, I was like, it's different. And I tell you, you're like, nurture me. You love me. And I love that. Sometimes I just need a guy to tell me I'm being a dumbass and it's my fault. It's all happening. Why though? I'm like, I don't know. That's just the way men work. Like, hey, bro, I get it. I feel you, but it's your own fault, dude. You got to come on. And she's like, that's just weird. I was like, but that's where the whole you got to start the fire within your friend. And sometimes it's as simple as, hey, bro, I hope you kill it today. And then that person comes out and says, bro, I did not feel it today. I was like, thank you so much for it. I needed that. And then that day it actually happened with my buddy Caleb. Uh, I'm actually gonna have him on the podcast. He's a great guy to have. My buddy Caleb the other
Our
day.
guest list is long.
Well, great. That's great.
We
But
don't have room for it.
well, that's a good thing. That's what we call a backlog in my business. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, he met with me the other day, and I was struggling, and I don't ask for help. I don't, dude. I figured it out, and I was struggling. He's like, "Hey, bro, I gotta meet up with you. I gotta give you some money." I'm like, "Yeah, you give me some money for what?" "Oh, so and so." "Oh, hell yeah, bro." I meet up with him. I was like, "Dude, like I wouldn't have met up with you because I really don't need that money, but like I kind of need that money right now just because I'm kind of waiting on some shit. I'm kind of making some, bro. I got you." And, we got talking. At the end of the day, I texted him. I was like, about to go to bed. I was like, oh, no, the next day, I texted him and I said, hey, man, I just want to let you know you're my angel yesterday. And like, I'm not that type of person. You know me. Like,
Yeah, he said that to you?
no, I said it to him.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, you're my angel yesterday. I said, because I wasn't having a bad day, but I wasn't having a good day. And then after I met with you, I realized that like everything's good, dude. life is really good and gave me a little bit of money. And honestly, it wasn't like in life or death or anything, but like it kind of put a little bit of peace to my mind. And I wasn't really worried or anything, but God has a way of working things out every time. And bro, you were my angel yesterday. I just want you to know that. And he's like, dude, that just made my
Uh,
day. And it's like, but sometimes
yeah.
we need that. And
Yeah.
admittedly, our spouses try to be those people for us. But especially as driven men, entrepreneurs, bro, we don't want to put that on them. We put so much on them already.
It's hard to find another
And that's where you and I, it's
male
like nice
guy
to have those
who
conversations
can
of
vibe
like,
with that, who has similar core values.
and similar struggles. Like again, when we talk about, we said it early on that hey, you get me is my whole family, and then we talk about the fact that hey, you bought your whole family bikes too. It's like, bro,
Dude, that was wild.
what the fuck? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And it's like it's just simple like core values of like why? Because we're in similar seasons, similar
We're also on, I was going to say similar
seasons,
seasons.
similar
Yeah.
headaches, similar wants and needs in life. And it's great. I love it. It's hard to find people like that. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that social media has made it really hard to build relationships like you and I have. And we built it because it's been in person. It wouldn't happen if
Yeah.
it never
Put
would
your
have
butt in
been.
the seat, put mine here, a
Like, bro,
glass of whiskey.
it doesn't happen anymore. And
No.
it's hard to do. Like today, I got a haircut from my best friend Tim. And
I was thinking it
bro,
looks fire.
I've been
Just a little bit
again,
ago, I was like, dude, this
thanks,
fade
boss.
looks good here.
Thanks, boss. But I went to go get a haircut with Tim and I'm like sitting there with Tim and I'm like, man, I just need to catch a beer with you. Like, why? Like, I haven't hung out with you forever. And
Timmy?
yeah, Timothy, and I know we had him on a podcast, right?
Jimmy.
But like really just hung out the way you and I have hung out, run around a pond type shit. It's like I haven't done that in a while. It's like when you start to think about it, it's like, wow, as men, it is we get so tied up in this work, build for our families that like sometimes it's really hard to release when we're with your family.
I'm
But
just a
sometimes
boy.
you gotta be with your friends to just be a fucking boy again. And like why? Because you just gotta be a dumbass for a little bit. Now, given we're a lot older, so we're not as dumbass as we would be.
We're smart
But
dumbasses.
yeah, right. But we still need to be a little careless. We still need to be a little bit encouraged by our
Yeah.
dumbass friends to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's the whole thing of like starting the fire. Why? Because your wife, in a sense, she's gonna help you want to start that fire and so on and so forth. Bro, your friend's gonna tell you to throw some gas on that fire. And that's fun. And guess what? You're probably gonna hurt somebody. But guess what? At the end of the day, you're like, oh, that wasn't very smart. But the fire started. The fire started because that guy helped me.
But did it work?
But did it work?
But did
Exactly.
it work?
And again, it's I think a lot of that with Brews in Business, we've had some women on, quite a few women on, but a lot of it ends up being men. We are two very driven men, and we like having men around because we relate on those things, right? Relate on the seasons of these men and so on and so forth. And again, that's where I think
I
you and
don't know.
I.
I think it's just happened to work out that way. Like we just don't
No,
have a lot of
I'm not
guests that
saying.
want on the show.
Yeah, I'm not saying we
I
dictated
mean,
that.
we
What I'm saying
would,
is,
we could.
no,
And
no,
apparently, did you know women are moving into a hierarchy of workforce that will own majority of businesses and C-level executives
can I tell you
in the
something?
next 3 to 5
I
years?
believe that because my goal right now is to be financially free by 35. But do you know why? There's a reason I put that number. And fucking crazy, I know I am. Men hit their prime, physical prime, 25 to 35 years old. If you're lucky, you push it to 40. Women hit their prime, 35 to 40, 45. They'll push a little bit if they're lucky. So I have to be financially free by 35. I have to be set
Because
by
what else do you have
35.
to offer?
No. Because at that point,
No, just kidding. That's a
I
bad
want
joke.
to support my wife. Because
More
she's going to be in her prime.
because it won't,
Whatever that
because
is.
it has to be financially if it's not
It has-
physically.
Right. Like, admittedly, like if we have enough financial freedom,
Really bad joke.
I can. No, not really. I mean, this is what it is. but if we have enough financial freedom, right, and we're both building for that, just like you're both building for that. But if there's enough financial freedom, I don't have to be the leader anymore. I can be the cheerleader. Right. And right now,
Yeah.
our wives are our cheerleaders, bro. They're biggest cheerleaders we have. You literally said a second ago, dude, if it
Yeah.
all goes down in hell, it
My
doesn't
wife
matter.
is the
I'm right here
biggest
with you.
cheerleader.
We're going to right back up. My wife is the same way. And it's like, but I know this, that biologically, I have no control over the fact that at about 35, 40, and if you look at the history of anybody that's older as men, look at it. Bro, about the time they hit their 35, 40, 45 years old, they hit their midlife crisis. Mom, the wife, took over the family, took over the lead of the family, and they were still kicking ass, but it was a different role that they played in the family at that age, right? And that's awesome. But it's like when get to that, dude, I want to support hardcore. Like I want to be like all in for my wife. And not to say that she's gonna be a businesswoman or anything. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
not, dude. But whatever she says is next for in life for us, let's fucking do it. And in order for me to feel like I'm gonna be able to do that, I think is like you have to have the certain system, the certain business set up. So that way it's not just sure we have the money. I don't, dude, she's not gonna need the money. She's gonna need the support just like she gave me, right? Your wife's gonna need the support just like she gave you. But without the finances, dude, the support shit. So it's like, admittedly, we got to get to a certain level. And I do think that, hey, I'll hit it by 35. And I did pick that because, again, I mean, by 35, 40 years old, our prime's gone. And that's okay. We're biologically engineered that way. But that doesn't mean the cunt's over. It just means like, hey, there's a new person that comes in and you just support the shit out of her. And my wife's always thought it'd be cool to like, start a school or something like that. I'm like, hell yeah, we could do something like it'd be awesome to go nonprofit after building a business. Like, I hate I hate charging people money, but I have to pay the bills. So if I could just like ask people for money because I have to give it away, that'd be way cooler, I think. I don't know. I'm sure the charity people would
Philanthropy.
I think yeah, I think that would be, like, a lot of fun. Like, the George Kaiser guy, he brought in all these people. I've met, like, 3, 4 people that moved here because he did the $10,000 to move to Tulsa type thing. Dude, all these people are their whole job is to find money to give away, and I'm like, "Bro, that's awesome." "Yeah, well, I just gotta find money so that way George Kaiser's family can give it away." I'm like, "I wanna be the George Kaiser family. I just wanna give it away. Hire other people to give me money so I can give it away." Like, that sounds fun. Being a business owner is kinda sucks. It's great, but it kinda sucks.
You want to skim through a few of these topics that we
Let's
had
do it.
last year in these episodes?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we had the year in review again last year, which is what we're having again now. And then, do you remember Emmanuel
Ye
Rivera, the Journey with the Come Up Kids?
Yep.
He was on the podcast.
Yep. He actually just got a new 2 new schools that agreed to have him run his program.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's
he's
cool.
he's planning to come to Tulsa in 2026 officially.
Then we
Yeah.
recorded an episode with Don Burdick at Tulsa Irish
Yep.
Fest,
Yep.
and learned
That was a great one.
pretty much from what I took away. There's multiple things, but one of them was it's never too late. He didn't get started till 53,
And he's killing it.
and he's killing it now. My God, Tulsa Irish Fest is coming back too again another year. Consulting on it, helping connect some dots and stuff.
Not trying to go backwards here, but you see the fireplace situation. Don went his whole life learning how to chop firewood, build fireplaces, so on and so forth. So at 55, this dude's got a fireplace damn near lights itself. Like that, it took time for him to learn how to
He's
do
full
that,
time
and now
Tulsa Irish
he's
Fest.
killing it,
Yeah.
bro. He's killing it. I love it. Keep
And
going.
then the entrepreneurial journey with risk, relationships, and realizations. This was
That was us, wasn't
this was a lot of some tax strategies in business. We talked about building relationships, crucial in business as it fosters trust. We talked about some major corporations often manage their finances in a way that minimizes profit for the business entity, but still compensates for employees and taxes. And we're going to have to listen to that one.
I said, I don't know if I remember that one 100%.
Yeah, we'll come back. That was March 27th. Now we're getting to April with whiskey business with John Buchanan. Remember that? We tried like 6
That was a
whiskeys.
good one. He came with the backpack full of whiskeys.
Yep. And then Forever Faith.
Oh, Abe Kruse.
Abe Kruse, man.
Actually, I think I'm
Dude, he's
using
traveling
him.
around the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I reached out to him. I think he's going to try to do our uniforms the coming up years. I asked him, he's like, well, it's not really what we do, but yeah, man, we'd love to have a crack at it. And I mean, technically our uniforms, like it's athletic gear. You're outside working in the hot sun all day. We might as well
Yeah.
get something comfy and nice to wear.
So that was May 3rd. Then we
Nice,
get
nice.
into the end of May with building relationships with Silas Brooks. Remember
Yeah,
that?
Silas. We need to have him on.
You know,
again.
he's a few doors down from me. He
killing
made
it.
a post once, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
he
if
is.
you, if you need somebody, call me."
He's
Are-
literally
were
like
you
6 doors down
invited?
from you.
Are you in the invite for his build
Goal
your year
thing?
goal thing?
Yeah, but I'm not going. I'm not.
Why?
Because I got shit I'm trying to do myself, bro.
Me too.
I'm trying the
But,
focus aspect, right?
You're
There's
right.
a certain
You're right.
focus, and
You're
and
right.
I want to be a part of all these things, Braedon. I do so bad, dude. I want to see you more.
I
But-
want to see you more,
but
but you're
there's-
cutting me out once a month.
and hey, man, hey, listen, it's not cutting off. It's just like you have
Balance.
done it. We got to refocus for a second.
I get
And
you.
that's all it is.
I'm not butthurt
but-
about it. I'm good. The Power of Giving Back with Deborah Wimpy. Remember that?
That was a good one.
Soldier's
That was
Wish.
fun to have on.
The Mayor of Broken Arrow. I love Deborah.
That was fun to have
I
on.
had dinner with her last night. Her and her husband and a couple other people. It was really good.
Nice.
Commitment to Quality with Smoking Sounds podcast. We were smoking some cigars outside stuff. That was kind of cool. Leaving a lasting legacy with Kyle Sullivan. Remember Kyle checking in
Yep.
with us? I'm supposed we're bringing him back.
I said we've had him on 2 or 3
He's
times
coming
now.
back again, January
Nice.
3rd. We'll
Nice.
record with him in here. And then celebrating wins with Mason and Andrew. Remember with Harley, Get Better Bookkeeping?
Mhm.
That was July 20th. We talked about some numbers, profit and loss, balance sheet stuff. And then I traveled out to North Carolina, met with Brad at Campground Coffee, just started his coffee shop. And then you and I talked about family finances and stuff in August. That was a good one. Oh, and then Eric Conkle in August, the TU
Mhm.
basketball head coach,
That was a dang
where
good
that
one.
was interesting to kind of learn about, you know, a completely different industry from ours, a
That's exactly what I
completely
was
different
saying.
industry than anyone we've talked about,
He's in a
but
leadership industry, and
he's
that's
in a
it.
leadership
That's
industry,
it, dude.
you
That's
know,
crazy, and that's literally what we aspire to be,
leaders.
just leaders.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't run his he literally told us he's got a whole team of people that runs his team. He's basically the leader and make sure everybody and that's
Yep.
you just think he's a head coach. But no,
And
he's way
then
more than that.
Josh Mitchell, Gregrin
Ah, yes,
Coffee, are
Gregor
the
Coffee, yep.
official roaster podcast.
Man, I thought I
Rooster.
saw something
Yeah.
there.
It was back here behind me.
Okay.
And then
I was say
the Grinch
I saw that.
is right there.
I'm gonna
And then
grab
there's
that real
another one.
quick.
You can grab those real quick.
Just so
We'll
we can
come
show
back.
it here.
So that was a good one. Yeah, Josh Mitchell. He's based out of Owasso, Oklahoma, and he roasts coffee beans. Roast them to order. Use code Brews for 10% off your order. It's you order it online. He roasts it and then ships it out within 48 hours, something like that. I believe. Don't quote me on it. Really awesome guy. I love it. So
Love it.
you've
Like,
got the Grinch and I love syrup.
I think I love syrup.
You want some of these? I mean, I won't be able to drink all these by Christmas, so I got to share some.
Yeah, that smells good.
Okay. We'll get some baggies. I'll share them with you.
Ooh.
So then we go into vulnerability in IT with business. Cody Ross,
Cody
T-Town Tech.
Rojas.
That was September 28th. Financial mastery with Jody Grunden on cash flow and KPIs and service-based businesses. That was in October. Still in October, you and me caught up with the importance of community engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we talked about collaboration benefits, personal updates with team dynamics, some accountability,
Mm-hmm.
work-life balance, effective communication, taking some breaks, setting clear expectations, stay the course. It's not as scary as you think. And then you can only do something so many times before something has to change.
Amen to that, brother.
Yep. And then Clippers and Culture with Timothy McCullough. That was in October as well. Key strategies. You and me talked about that with some business leaders. In that episode, we were talking about calendar management,
Mm-hmm.
ethical considerations, team accountability, effective communication. That seems to be a frequent thing that we talk about.
Well,
We really focus on
and that's what I was about to say.
accountability
It
and
seems like we
communication.
focus on that and the work-life balance a lot. And
Mhm.
because it's funny, as you say those episodes, I vividly remember the different seasons, I guess you could say, that we were in our business in those times. And like, oh wow, things have really changed since then. And it kind of makes you think. It's like I love that because we always come back to you. You literally hear us in the podcast over the past 2.5 years of I need to go hard in the business. I need to go hard in my family. I need to go hard in the business. And I just love that because literally just right now you're literally saying, and I'm like,
Man,
man, I
work-life
love that.
balance is a bunch of bullshit. And I agree with this
We
with
said
multiple
that it's
people
the
who have
pendulum,
said
bro.
this. It is a constant it's a harmony.
It's a harmony.
You
And
know,
like I said,
music notes, they go from top to bottom.
with
You
the
know,
right,
they
with the
don't imagine if all you heard was and that was the entire song. No, what you hear is oh
hopefully a little
I
better than
can't,
that.
yeah,
But
I can't sing, right? but
no, I love
Money
that.
Loves Speed.
Yeah, and
Uh
that one's the one that I'm learning that one. That is so true. So true. I said something today that earlier this year I told God and told myself that I was tired of working in neighborhoods that I wanted to work on only estates. So if you do not have a beautiful gate and a big beautiful driveway leading to your big
if we
beautiful
don't have to
house,
have a code to get in,
I don't want it.
I want it.
And it's funny the way God has done that for me. And what I've realized is those people that have those funds, they want speed. I told you, Mark Allen, dude, he calls me today, 6 days away from Christmas. Bro, I need a landscape done by Christmas. Those people want that, but then you tell them, like, hey, that's not realistic because of XYZ, and they get it. But the reality is those people that have those finances, they want speed, dude. They want it done because they want it, And admittedly, we're not there because we haven't made it there yet. But after you make it to that certain point, yeah, I could see why, dude. I know it costs money. Hurry up and do it. Like, I can't wait till we're there. That's all I'm saying.
But wear the man in the t-shirt, not the man in the suit.
Absolutely.
You want your kids to be happy. It's a version of success. That's where I talked about money's a form of energy. It's designed to be
Yep.
transferred,
Yep.
right? So that's November 4th. And then we get into sipping whiskey, secrets to success, community health. We start talking
Oh, Tyler
about
Trumbo.
Tyler Trumbo, which is still that episode from a year and a half ago, is still top
Still number
trending.
one.
Finding time to build process, diet and lifestyle, making sure we take care of our health. And then we get into Beyond the Game with Chad Lott, guy that's
Mm.
been in sports and leadership, and a
Yep.
little bit of
Yep.
kind of like what Eric Conkle's doing with
Yep. Yep.
leadership,
He's doing with kids.
but kind of in a different aspect.
Mhm.
So they're both supporters of each other in different parts of sports.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they can't have one without the other. We talked about the importance of authentic branding, and then I had a conversation with Bourbon and Ash.
Mhm.
He's a TPD veteran. Used to be a Tulsa Police Department. We talked about regulations, time management, customer retention, collaboration over competition, community involvement and engagement, customer retention. Yep. So those are good conversations. So that was basically in a nutshell in the last 10 minutes for what
Our
we did in
year.
prison business.
Yeah, man. It was a good year, honestly. I'm excited about,
Yeah.
and I know I kind of threw a curveball in there, like, I can only meet it once a month. But I think my
But that will
real
change if you
idea,
want to
yeah,
jump
yeah.
in. Yeah, yeah.
And what I was gonna say is, like, I think the idea and what I'm kind of in all of my life, and I think we're both kind of going through this right now, is trying to realize what we want to focus on. So, like, I see your board over there. You can't see it in the camera, but I see your board over there, right? And it's empty. But you have five what I would consider areas of life in each individual. So
Talk
for your
about this
family,
board.
yes, you have your
Okay,
family and
yeah.
your business.
So I separated between like personal
Right, right.
and
But
business.
what
Yeah, and
I'm
I've created some categories. And as I wrote that down and looked at it, I'm like, where's my focus at?
and that's exactly what I
And
was gonna
all I
say
did
is,
was
like,
just spitball some
just
ideas
trying
out.
to
Yeah.
right now it's empty, right? And it's not that's not a bad thing. I'm saying it's empty because I think this year with everything it's like we're trying to figure out what we're gonna focus on. And the only reason I say that is, like, I had a conversation with Abraham 2 days ago. I was like, dude, I don't think you realize, like, I think very different than most people. And I've started to really understand that. But, like, I'm 30 years old and I'm trying to figure out who I'm gonna be at 60. And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I
Oh,
realize, like, now I
yeah.
am who I am today because of who I was at 15,
So
16, and
tweak that a
20."
little bit. See if you can look at your life in decade
Oh, and
increments.
I get that, I get that. And but the reason I said 60 was because in order to figure out who I'm gonna be at 60, I have to figure out who I'm gonna be at 50, who I'm gonna have to be at 40, and so on and so forth. And that's the kind of the path I'm looking at. And now that 60 can
What
change and
if
so on and so forth.
play with me on this? What if you restarted every 10 years? Imagine you had a new life every decade.
I don't want my
You,
new life.
I know you don't want, but imagine if you started over, right? Clean slate, fresh, no relationships, no kids, no wife, nothing. Okay,
That'd
what
be
would you?
sad.
No, no,
Just
oh,
kidding. Go
sure,
ahead. Go
no,
ahead. Go
sure.
ahead.
It's
Go
a
ahead. Go
blank
ahead.
slate. Okay, fine. That's a starting point. It's sad. It's empty. What would you add in there? Would you add your wife? Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Would you add your 3 kids? Yes.
Absolutely.
What else are you putting in? What else? What else are you putting on the plate?
Whole lot of camping.
Great. So that's one of your things.
Right,
And
and
that,
that's what I mean is that the
and what I've
focus
tried
is
to
trying to
focus on, and then this kind of goes into who's in charge of what is the process, is only try to make it as easy as 3, but no more than 5. Minimum 3, but no more than 5. And if you can say these are your 5 things that you're in charge of, and it doesn't have to be 5, but no more
right,
than
right.
5, but no less than 3. Because if you only have one thing you're in charge of,
It's
it's
too
almost like 2,
easy.
just
Right, right, right.
right. But 3 gives a little variable.
Yep,
2 is this or that.
yep, yep.
But you add in the third element, it's this, that, or what if, So, but imagine. So I'm thinking of like my set of 30s, right?
Yeah,
And
and I
and
would agree with you. Again, it's the whole idea of working backwards, right? When I say, what am I gonna be at 60? But I think you and I both look at that in the same aspect of, like, when I say focus, it's Blue Studio, it's moving shops, it's the right people, it's certain hell, as simple as it sounds, moving out of your apartment, bro, that was 2 years ago. right? Moving a year and a half ago.
2 years, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, right. Moving out of your apartment.
Eh,
And it's like, as crazy as it sounds, what is that? It's like refocusing on certain things that are important, right? And what that means. And again, for me, it's like, I don't know who I want to be at 60 yet.
but
But
you
here's the,
drive all those little things
and
into
that's
a
exactly what I was about to
pillar.
say.
So those things are what? Core values.
And
So when you look at those
exactly.
things on my board, it's family, it's health,
Yeah.
it is some of it's revenue,
Oh,
some of
yeah.
it's people, some
Yeah.
of it's I want to have some projects and I want to have some hobbies,
Yep.
right?
And there's
So that becomes focus, which creates vision. And then as you create habits, creates clarity.
exactly.
You break it down
Exactly.
like that, and whoever's listening and watching, I feel like that was right there was a golden nugget.
Yeah, no, no, but it
But
is.
you're
But
like, how
again,
do I know to figure out where I'm
and
going?
okay,
Well,
I love that.
as you start to figure out, well, where do your habits lie?
And what do they need to
What
be?
how do can you categorize those? And then as you categorize them, how can you make sure you create those routinely habits to who
Accomplish
you
that
are?
goal.
When
Right.
people ask me, who are you? I'll be like, I don't know, look at my social media.
Mm. Whenever people ask me, what do you do? Who are you? I'm like, my name's Abel. I own a landscape business. That always throws people off. You own a landscape business. What does that mean?
Does it throw them off?
Yeah.
To me, it's just I get it. Like, oh, cool, okay,
Okay, but do
I
you
get it.
say I own a marketing business or do you say I'm a marketer?
I'm a
I own it.
marketer.
See, I used to say I'm a landscaper and everybody got it. But then I started saying I own a landscape business and people were like,
See,
what does that mean?
see,
And
I
it's like,
say
but that mind frame,
mine's the other
I
way
had to
around.
say that. I had to say that to
Yeah.
get me to understand what my job was in my business. I had to say, I am not a landscaper. My
Mm.
foremans are the landscapers. My designers are designers. My salespersons are
See, I'm the
salespersons.
doctor here.
I
Those are my nurses.
own I own the business.
Yeah.
And again, it's different. We've talked about this many times before and I had to build to get there, but it's just different because again, who are you? And that's again what I'm kind of asking myself is like, who am I? Who am I really? And I know women, we talked about mostly we have men on board, but I know women go through the same. Who are you? Like, admittedly, women go through the process of having the babies, raising the babies. We as men, I literally said it early in the podcast, we don't have that relationship like we want with our kids most of the time because we're busy working and so on and so forth. But we do still go through a change, right? Where it's like, who am I anymore? Like, I don't even know. And it's like, well, I look at myself now and it's like, wow, I'm exactly who I wanted to be 10, 15 years ago. Wow, I didn't realize that. But now I'm like, okay, well, I need to start thinking about who I'm going to be at 60 because all I did was think about who I wanted to be at 30 and look at where I am now. And I always tell people, like, is it everything you want? It's everything and nothing. Like, it's everything I wanted it to be and nothing I wanted it to be. And it's more than I wanted it to be, and then it's not anywhere close to what I wanted. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
business is great and it's hard. But in the grand scheme of things, it's for me, it's like right now trying to figure out who I want to be at 60, which the only thing I have right now for my 60-year-old self is I've always had this dream, Braedon, of this house on a mountain. And I've tried drawing this house. I've always wanted to be an architect, which I think is why I ended up in like the design aspect of my business. Um, but I've always wanted to be an architect, and I have this idea for this house I'm going to build in retirement. I tell Kyle all the time, I know exactly where it's going to be, and she's like, "What do you mean? Oh, it's going to be a big, beautiful winding road. And I can take my Porsche 911 up, and then I'm going to go up this winding road of full evergreens in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to turn left or right into my driveway, and I'm going to go down this crazy hill to my beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright inspired house. Like I know that." I don't know what the road gets there. The goal never changes. The roadmap to the goal will change. There will be
Mhm.
roadblocks along the way. There'll be construction along the way, so on and so forth. But I know, just like I know I'll be financially free at 35, at 60 years old, I'll be driving that Porsche up that mountainside, pulling into that house, and I'll be driving into my beautiful little Carpegé and walking in to see my wife and having a cup of coffee out on our balcony. Like I see it all. And I'm like, okay, what are the habits that I need to possess to achieve that goal? Now it's 30 years away. I have 30 years to build these habits, but really I only have about 5 because I need about 15 to 20 years of doing those habits to get me that life. And it's like the crazy mentality there, right? That most people, again, the little golden nuggets, right? Most people don't get that. They're like, oh, I want this. I watched a movie the other day, The Hard Miles. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a bicycle movie.
No.
It's a great movie. But it's the same thing of like, hey, most people don't understand that you have to have a goal. That goal may be to start a business. It may be to be a $3 million business. It may be to take care of your whole family from a business. Who knows? But you have a goal and you start. And then somewhere along the
Don't just
lines,
have a revenue
so
goal.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Have a real goal. My goal was financial freedom at 35 while providing a company that took care of
The people
people.
who took care of you.
People. They,
Yep.
the people who take care of the business, it will take care of you more than anything you've ever like, bro, you are everything. That was my goal. Now, I'm looking at it now. I'm seeing how I'm building that, but nonetheless, there's been obstacles, and in that movie, there's obstacles and shit that goes south and so. And you have to understand that, like, the goal never changed for those people, and the goal has never changed for me, and just like the goal has never changed for you. Now, can it change? Absolutely, and it should. If you have kids, if you have situations, it should change. It should, but it should still be a goal that makes you happy. And like I said, for me, it's always like this idea of this huge, not even huge house, but I have this dream, right? And I could, if I could have like AI tap into my brain and print this picture for me, it'd be heaven. But the idea is, why do I want that house? Like I've always come to, why do I really want that? Like, why do I see that at 60? It's like I always come down to because I want this property, and I understand that my grandkids have a different thought. But I want this property that my grandkids will like just die to go hang out at grandma and grandpa's house. And like that's all I want. It's like literally that's what you want. That's why you want the house. Like, yeah, like the top of the house is beautiful open
Are you
land to
afraid of
where we
being
could all
alone?
play. Huh?
Are you afraid of being alone, not being able to provide value at an old age?
No, no, I love being alone. I think not I think. When I found out we were pregnant with Remy, we were in Hawaii. I just landed in Hawaii. Like literally a day in Hawaii. And Kyla hits me with, "I'm pregnant." And we kind of thought about it, like, she got sick on the plane to Hawaii. We get to Hawaii, and I'm like, "Damn, maybe we should take a pregnancy test." Like, "Oh, fuck, I don't know." Gets a pregnancy test, and I literally freak out, Braedon. I freak out. I can't do this. This isn't time. I'm not ready. I it was I hate to say it. I'm
You're
sorry.
never ready.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry I did that to you. But I freaked out. And then
She did
like
it too.
2 days later, no, she didn't. She was chill. She was like, yeah, we're
Oh.
it's cool." She didn't care. She was ready for it.
Give me that
A
baby.
few days later, a few days, we hadn't even left Hawaii yet. I think we were in Hawaii for 10 days. We hadn't even left Hawaii yet. And I told her, "I can't wait to be grandpa." We haven't even had our first baby yet. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, "Yeah, but my mom and dad seem to be having a lot of fun." So I don't know, but I saw my mom and dad having a lot of fun, and I thought, you know what? Life as a parent is rough. It's hard. I love it, but surely being a grandpa is gonna be badass. And all I want is to have a house and not just a house. I want a property that my grandkids just like. I want to be that super involved grandparent. Like I do. You want to go date night? Fuck it. You want 2 day nights? I'll take your fucking kids. Like I that's who I want. But at the same time, I realize that in order to achieve certain things, I have to do certain things, right? In order for me to be that available for my grandkids, I have to build a life that allows that availability. What does that mean? I don't necessarily know right now, but I know the long-term goal is availability. You know, like I said, my house right now, sure, I probably could have got a nicer house. Did I want a nicer house? Sure. But the reality is like it's not doesn't give me availability. Like that is my one goal, availability to do what the fuck I want. Like this week, I'm gonna take off for Christmas. I'm gonna work on my truck, on my dad's truck. I've been wanting to work on that truck for 6 months since I bought my house and since I had a garage. I've been wanting to pull that truck in and really work on it. And I've only got to once. So for Christmas, I'm gonna pull my truck in. I'm gonna work on my truck. Probably cry, talk to my dad a little bit. But
That'll be good.
it's one of those things where it's like, what? I want that availability all the time, not just when the rest of the world takes off a whole fucking week
I
too.
don't know what to do outside of work right now.
Yeah, but it's different. As men, we are driven by work. And I had that conversation with a
It's a
customer
little
the other
kind of
day.
a little scary.
Is
You
it?
know, kind of,
Why?
because who are you? Because your identity is so tied into work. Who else are you? What else are you? What else do you provide outside of the value of
Why do you
work?
need to be anything else?
Well, because I'd like to get more involved into camping. I'd like to get more involved into
Okay, but you
hunting
don't think camping
and
as a
do other
man is work?
sports. It doesn't provide income
Okay,
unless you
but
turn it into a job.
that's where that's where our thing is different. My work doesn't always provide income, and I love that. My favorite work is when it doesn't
My
provide
work
income.
only provides income.
You're all wrong. Do you mow your own house?
Yeah.
That's work. Does it provide income? No, it doesn't. Do
Okay, my
you
work is marketing and advertising related.
but it's
Anything outside of that is
but
not
that's
work.
okay, and that's where I think of it. My business is ARC. Work is anything that I do that I physically work at. In my head. So if I mow my yard, if I do my flower bed, if I make something for the girls, if I do something for the girls, if I that's work. And I like literally the girls are like, "Dad, what are you doing?" "I'm working today." Bro, I'm cleaning up dog shit, filling holes, building something with the girls, doing like random stuff around the
So
house.
that's not
That's
working.
work for me.
Not for me.
And but that's the
That's
work.
interesting though.
That's the work that I love to do. I love doing that shit. Like I
You love
love
doing
it.
like
Kylie could be like, "Hey, this is
dad chores,
broken."
dad list,
Love
like
it.
honey-do list.
Love it. Give me a bigger list. Like,
The
dude,
bigger the
I
honey-do list, the better.
love it. But I need the
Dude,
money
you're
to
gonna
go
have some
buy
women
the
calling you.
tools. I need the money to go buy the tools and buy the stuff that I want to do the job correctly because I refuse to do job
Yeah.
half-assed. So like
Yeah.
last weekend, I literally walked around the house and said, "What materials do I already have? What tools do I already have that I can do jobs correctly?" Because I'm bored and I want to do shit. And I fixed a couple gutters, I fixed a couple holes, I chopped some firewood, loaded, went and got a whole rick of firewood, like all kinds of. It's all work, but that's the work that is for who? For my wife and for my kids. That is the best. That's the best ROI I could ask for. I
I
love it.
respect you a lot, man. Like, there's a lot of things that you do and the way that you talk and what's in your heart. Like I speak very highly about you
Well,
to
same to
Leslie and
you,
some other
bro. That's
people. Like, man, I look up to you and I'm like, man, like Abel's so great and all this stuff. And
that
then
goes
my
both
wife loves you
ways.
too. Like, Leslie's like, oh, Abel's all of this and that. And I'm like, I don't know, you're a good guy. It's good shit.
Bro, that goes both ways. I wouldn't be your friend if you weren't, admittedly. I've told you. You can ask any of my friends. I've told them straight up, man. And the reason I'm like that is because too many people go through life just with the paces. They let life happen to them. And it's really easy to make life happen for you. It's as simple as just
Yeah.
telling the people around you what you expect, who you are. How many times have I told you, bro? I'm probably not going to wish you happy birthday. I'm probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm going to
You
be there.
clearly set the
I will
expectation.
be
Yeah.
there.
If you invite me
But
to a party,
like
I may be
I'll
there,
be
but
there.
yeah.
But the reality is I'm just not gonna do that. Why? Because I'm just not that person. That's fine. Like, but again, why? Because I want those expectations set. I want you to respect me. I want to respect you. And so, but in the grand scheme of things, what I really want, like in the grand scheme, bro, I want everybody around. You say, "Are you afraid to be alone?" And now that you said, I think I am because Tim and I had a dream. I think I pretty well left Tim in the dust of the dream now. Tim, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. Tim and I had a dream that we were going to build a lake between our houses, and not just like a shitty old lake, no, a full blown lake. He was going to be at one end, I was going to be on one end. I'm still going to build my lake, but the reality is what fun is that lake if you don't have people to spend it with, people to enjoy that with? What fun! I love camping. Love camping. My favorite camping is with
Is
my
with your
family.
family. But what if you
With my
didn't have your
family.
family to camp?
It would still be fun. I would still find enjoyment of it. 'Cause I
The
still find enjoyment in things, but it's different when you get to experience those things with people that you love, right? So
We're
again, when it
designed
comes
to
down
do
to
that as humans, though.
right, and
Yeah.
that's literally what it comes down to. So, am I afraid to be alone? No, I'm not afraid to be alone. But the reality is life is so short. What is the saying? We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, bro. I want to be here for a good time. My good time isn't partying, isn't crazy. It's like that. I love that too. But my good time is building an awesome life for my kids.
Yeah.
Awesome life for my friends, an awesome life for anybody who, like I said, I like to challenge people's dreams. That's it. Come on, you can dream bigger than that. Admittedly, bro, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's a little big of a dream, Abel. You gotta tone that down. But it doesn't matter, right? You're like, it's the whole idea of like, dude, if I win and my friends don't win, like, what the fuck is that? That's no fun. I don't want to go around paying for everybody's lunch. It'd be nice to go get paid some lunch sometimes too. Like, and that's the relationship I have right now with my friends. Like, bro, we'll go. I'll buy you lunch. You buy me lunch. I buy my. Like, it's just that way, right? Because at some point you realize, like, do I have the money today? I don't
Nah.
know, but I'll pay for lunch, and I'll pay for lunch. Why?
Yeah.
Because it'll get back to me on some point, somewhere along the lines, and it
Yeah.
does. It
Yeah.
does. And there's sometimes where you go prepared for it. Like, nah, bro, I got this. Why? Because you end up finding people that you love. You find people that are good, and you're like, you know what? We seem to have the same sort of seasons, same characters. Maybe we could be friends, and then it builds. And like I said, for me, my 30s right now, I mentioned to Devin, I've told you guys, I've told pretty much everybody that 2025 and probably 2026, we're going to be doing monthly cookouts. And in those monthly cookouts, I'm going to invite damn near anybody. My house is
I
not
really thought
that
about
cool.
doing that too.
My house isn't that cool,
I'd
right?
like to do that.
Like
At your
it's
house
not.
or ARC?
No, at my house.
Okay.
Like, but and the reason at my house,
You got space too.
there's a reason for this. The reason it's at my house is because when you come to my house, the very first thing you're going to do is judge me. The very first thing you're going to do is judge
The
me.
street, the neighborhood, the lamppost,
You
the
know it's true.
curb,
We're human. We're all
the
human.
driveway,
The
the
first thing you're gonna
cars,
do
the
is judge me.
landscaping.
Yeah, right. You're just gonna judge me.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I want you to judge me because if I invited you, I already judged you. So if you come over to my house and you like what you see, we're probably gonna get along just fine. But you gotta show up. That's all it is. And you get a straight up candid view into who I am as a person. But if you don't show up, you never know and you don't get invited next year. It's that simple. Because admittedly,
Mm.
so many of us are living on highlight reels on Facebook. No, bro, come over. See my house a little bit of a mess. See my playroom's a little bit. You see that dog shit? I cleaned that up earlier, but it's still there because I got dogs too, bro. Like all this stuff that
You
we're
open
gonna
up the curtain,
yeah, right.
there's still dog shit.
Exactly. Like, hey, guess what? We're gonna run out of propane at
Yeah,
some
that
point in the middle
Instagram
of the
shit that
cookout.
you see of beautiful homes, well, guess what? And Pinterest shit, like, you
It's
think that
cool,
that is
but
always like that?
right.
Absolutely
And
not.
that's where
And if it is, it's not being
it's not
used.
being used. Exactly. It's not.
No,
It's not loved. It's not like
it's not
Kyler's
allowed.
always like, "Oh, the house. That's like
You
baby.
know how many
It
houses
looks
you do
lived in. It
too?
looks
You know how
lived
many
in. I
houses
love
you
it."
see that go unloved and untouched?
Oh, too many.
So
Too many.
many. Like people, like
I
there's
see a
two
lot of
people that live there,
in a huge
husband,
4,000 square foot
wife,
house.
and maybe a daughter or kid or whatever that's maybe in and out of there, whatever. And in a 6,000 square foot house
Yeah,
down
right.
on like Brookside or
Yeah.
Utica
And I
Square
love it
or
for them, dude.
whatever.
I'm not hating, but I love my little 1,200 square foot house with my 3 kids. My oldest daughter asked me the other day that the next house we move into, if she could have her own room. And I said, yeah, but I kind of love going to sleep all in the same room. So that kind of makes me sad. And she's like, why? I was like, no, like I get it. I respect you. You're getting older. I get it. But as a dad, like I love putting you guys all to sleep in the same room. That's kind of cool. Like we all sleep in the
They
exact
have
same
different
room.
rooms now, right?
No.
No? Oh, no.
So all 3 girls sleep in one room.
I'm trying to imagine that
And then the
hallway
office.
again.
Yeah, so we have the office, first bedroom,
Yep.
and then we have the girls' room, second bedroom, and then our bedrooms on the left. So all 3 girls sleep in one room. It's a sleeping room. It's a bedroom. That's the
And then you have a
idea.
playroom.
And then we have the playroom,
Yeah,
and then
that's
we
a good
have
idea,
the
especially for like
classroom.
3, 4,
Yeah,
5 years
and then we
old.
have the
Yeah.
classroom. So like you don't need your own bed, but I get as you get older, you're gonna want that and so on. And so. But like I told her, like that makes me a little heartbroken. But at the same time, it's like also like, hey, that's cool. I like that because within 3 to 5 years, I need a bigger house. I need more rooms. I need XYZ. I can't be okay with this. There's nothing wrong with this, but I can't be okay because that's just not who I am.
Mm. I was told once, yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
You're never satisfied. When will you be satisfied? When will it be enough?
It won't.
Why? That's bad. You need to
No,
be,
it's
you need to be
not.
content. You need
No,
to be
it's
happy with what
not.
you have.
No, it's not. You know
Nothing's
why?
ever good enough.
Okay, can I tell you something?
Why aren't you happy with what you have?
Because
aren't you happy with your family? Aren't you happy with the cars?
phones, cars, fucking anything that's we love nowadays didn't happen because somebody was okay with what they had. It happened because somebody wanted a little bit more than what they had. The horses, there's nothing fucking wrong with horses, bro. They
Yeah.
get you around just fine. Like you
Yeah.
feed them,
Yeah.
you give them water, and they shit along the road. There's nothing wrong with them at all. As a matter of fact, it's better for the environment. Like, but we got cars because what? Because it wasn't fast enough, and I agree with that. Need more horsepower. But again, it's why because someone
More power,
was not
more passion,
okay,
more energy.
right? Someone was not okay with what that. There's nothing wrong. We have more than enough. I'm not going to disagree with that. But hell, a little bit more, you might be able to be a philanthropist a little bit more. I mean, I'm not gonna die with any of this shit. I'm gonna give it away, all of it. Kyle and I have said that. Like,
Yeah,
your
so as I
kids,
can pay my bills and stuff, the rest of it's going to
yeah, I don't
help
need it.
give it like
I'll start a
you know,
foundation.
my
with
key
kids, if you
people
want
here
any piece of that,
know
you better
that, like-
work for this company.
yeah, like my key people here, like they've known, like I'm extremely generous, and all the way down to the day.
Yeah, dude.
Come in late, leave early. If you're able to help cover your bases and do a good job, you put in the hours.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I'll pay you. You want your birthday off? You want a birthday bonus? You want a Christmas bonus? You want a performance bonus? Like I'll give money. You want to, if there's a profit sharing bonus thing, like whatever those things are, like if it's financial or if it's time, usually it's one of those two things, or it's comfort. Hey, show up at the office. Guess what? I already have a cortado on your desk.
Right.
I do that for my people
Yeah,
here.
no, for
They will
sure.
show up at the office and there will be a peppermint white chocolate mocha on their desk, ready to roll.
Yeah.
So when they show up at their desk and they go,
Yeah, right. It's different, right?
Your desk will already have
Starbucks.
Starbucks, better right there
Better
on
than
your
Starbucks.
desk.
We got Braedon.
Like you didn't have to order anything. Yeah, but I saw this post today too. Like Gary just shared it. Leaders work for their team, and it's true. I really love
We
to
love giving to
I
them.
love giving to my people, and I love seeing them thrive in their positions and what they do and all that.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
live
that.
on that. Like if I could big picture think and share and help execute and help drive and and not just be like, well, did you clock in by 8:30?
Oh, dude, I feel you.
I hate that. Like I
I
don't
feel you.
I don't want to micromanage. Like I want somebody else to micromanage,
But we have
but let
we have
me
to
be
we have to pass that
leader.
threshold, and that's what we're working on right now. Passing that
Not
threshold.
there yet.
Braedon, we're gonna have to wrap this up because I
It's
gotta
there.
pee, bro.
Dude, me too. Yeah, so welcome to the end. This is the 70th episode. Season 7 has come to an end. We're at 1,800 downloads. And I love you guys.
7 seasons, bro.
Seven seasons, 70 episodes. We're starting season 8 at 71 episodes here in 2 weeks with Kyle Sullivan. He is confirmed on January 3rd. We'll record with him, and
I don't know
you guys
about
will
Kyle,
see that.
man. He's too fun. I'm not sure we
Uh,
can have him on. Just kidding. Love
Kyle's a
Kyle.
good guy.
He's a great guy. I love having him
Him
around
and
me.
Mason are good checkpoints.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like they're
Absolutely.
in about every 6 to 12 months.
I might even have to throw Eric in there. Eric was really fun to have on. Eric.
We have 4 microphones. We have 4
What's his
stands.
name?
I have 2 more chairs I could throw in that won't match, but screw it.
Just
Who
something
else
for
makes?
sure.
If you make something perfect,
Yeah, with
okay,
double.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever.
I agree.
Um,
Hey, you know what? Perfect isn't selling on the internet anymore.
it's really not.
It's not. It's
not.
this is what's selling. Real,
It's
raw.
some real
the
raw,
BS.
unedited shit.
It's the hey,
some
I gotta cut
Grinch,
this
I
because I
love
gotta
syrup
pee
shit.
type thing. Yeah, it's real. I that's what I look for. That's what you look for. That's what I think. Why? Because we all realize that AI is doing a lot of that crap now. And
People are tired of the fake shit.
We're looking for the real shit.
Like, show me what's behind that curtain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, open up the curtain. See me open
It's a mess over there. You don't want to see. Maybe next time. We ready to wrap it up? I gotta pee.
Yeah, I'll tell you. This set is pretty dope.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's the perfect spot for that. Honestly, I like that.
The logo in the middle, and if you want to judge me
And
on
I
the
like
string on the wire, screw you.
Well, I can fix that pretty easy for you.
Yeah,
We could fix that.
Yeah, if you
We could.
because I don't want to do it.
No, we'll
I
fix
can't do it. I've tried.
We'll fix it.
You should see the holes in the wall behind the TV.
No, we'll fix it. It's easy.
I can't. I'm incapable. All right. Brews and Business, episode 70. We covered that. Oh, the new merch. That thing right there. The hoodies. The hoodies are on the website. If you go to the shop page, you're going to see these official Brews and Business.
Hoodies
They're
are super
simple.
comfortable.
They're clean. It's Adidas.
Only downside
Adidas.
I have, it won't be a big deal for everybody. I didn't think about this when Braedon ordered, but they're white. I can't keep white things very clean, so I have a very strict usage schedule with this hoodie.
Yeah.
But
I can make a black one.
But we can
Making
make
a black one is super easy. Making
Super
a
easy.
green one,
Fuck, make a yellow
or
one.
yellow one, making those versions are super easy. So
Yeah,
if you
for
want
sure,
one of
for
those,
sure.
I can custom make one of those. Put it on the
Yep.
site. Super easy to do. Let me know.
I didn't think about it, or else I would have said it ahead of time. But whatever.
We can make
They're still
I
beautiful.
can make those
I
different
still like
versions
it.
too.
No, I
Yeah.
still
So
like it.
anyway,
It's
so it's
great.
super cool. We got the new whiskey glass down there too. FYI, I'm a 42R on a suit, so this fits really loose. So if you're also a 42R with like a 34 arms, you're probably going to fit into a medium. If you like it to fit loose, order a large.
You have
loose,
no
order
idea what this
large.
guy's saying.
So
I'm
I
a
think
landscaper. I wear size large. This is a large. If it's a little big, it's great for wintertime. You can fit a shirt underneath it, so on and so forth. Nonetheless, I do agree with Braedon. I kind of wish I would have got a medium, but I'm very happy I got a large because it actually is big. It covers good. I can wear a shirt underneath it, and it's not super tight or anything. So again, I think
hoodies
the fit's
should.
perfect, and that's why I say I think the
Yeah.
fit's perfect because I do believe hoodies should be a little big. So that way they can cover. And for me, dude, I hate the cold. So I like being able to pull my hoodie down below my belt line to make sure that there's no air getting in there. So I'm not cold. So I love it. It's perfect.
No draft.
Dude, I hate the cold.
He's like, no
hate it.
draft.
No draft. No draft. Anyways.
Awesome. Well, Supporters Club, $4.99 a month. There'll be exclusive episodes that you may get every now and then. There's no frequency, but it is going to be some more raw content.
And you'll learn a lot
raw
from them.
behind the scenes.
Yeah,
it's
for
going
sure.
to be more unique stuff that we're only going to share with our supporters.
Yeah.
Would appreciate your support. And eventually, if we can help build up enough revenue between any of the products and the supporters club, we're going to find a common nonprofit or something to support to give back to because
Yeah, hell, we
we're all
might hire
about
just somebody on to
community.
just, like, bless them with something.
Yeah, we love to bless people. Like we just talked about that in today's episode about being able to support others who support us.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
whatever that looks like. But appreciate you guys. Make sure you buy. It's too late now to talk about the Grinch. By the time you see this, it's gonna be too late. But Brews and Business has an official roaster of the podcast called Gregor
Gregor
and
and
Coffee
coffee.
Roasters. You can go to our website and go to their website. 10% off if you use the code Brews. And until then, I guess we'll see you next time. Anything else?
See you next year, boss.